Great. Sorry about that. So, design is not just what it looks like and feels like, but design is how it works. Can anybody explain what Steve Jobs said? Design is not just what it looks like and feels like, but design is how it works. From your understanding of this statement, okay, should I mention names? Okay. Okay, so when we talk about design, it's not just what it looks like and feels like. Just as we learned last week, it's not just about the buttons, the colors, the text, and everything that is on the screen, but then it is how it functions in the back. As we learned last week, we used the skeleton analogy, where if I'm looking at you right now, I see the color of your skin, I see the color of your eyes, the color of your hair, I see your beautiful dress that brings out your Coca Cola shape if you're a lady. But then, for all these things to be pretty to me, there are bones that holds your form together. So it's not just about what is pleasing to the eye, but it's about how it works, how all these beautiful, beautiful elements that has been put together, your buttons and text, how they all come together to form a process that gives me value. So, design thinking. Design thinking is a human centered problem solving process that helps us to create better products, experiences, and solutions by understanding what people actually need. When we say it's a human centered problem solving process, the main reason why we are creating our apps, our websites, our softwares is to solve problems for humans. We're not solving for robots. So for us to be able to bring our solutions that will give real people value, we have to put ourselves in their shoes to understand the problems they are facing, what they want to achieve, and how best we can use our system to solve the problem. So, real world example. Have you ever used a microwave and you couldn't even figure out which button to press for you to heat your food? Has anybody experienced that? Hello, please, kindly talk. I kindly talk so that we can make it interactive as possible. I'm not the only person doing the talking today. We are all talking. Has anybody experienced that?
Oh yeah, sometimes it's not um a button to, let's say, heat the food per se, but to even open it. Yeah, some of these microwaves, unless you read the manual. Yeah, to even open it and then put your food in.
Yeah. I recently faced that problem when I went to our main office in town, and it was lunchtime. I was going to heat my food. I got to the microwave. I'm looking for the time to press so that I could heat my food. I looked through the side panel that has all these text and everything. I didn't even know where to press. Like, I was literally just standing there until someone came, someone who has used it came to help me reheat my food, and that is a very big problem. So how can we apply design thinking to solve this problem? One, you put yourself in my shoe. Here's the case, I'm the user trying to heat my food, and when I get to the microwave, I don't even know where to press. So, how will you solve this problem for me? Now you've put yourself in my shoe. That is, you've empathized with me. You found the problem that I don't know how to use the microwave. Why? Because I can't even find the start button, the time that I could allocate to it, and all that. Now you will sit down, you will put ideas together, you draw down some sketches to see that, okay, so what if we design the microwave in such a way that the numbers will appear so visible, the start button will be so visible that I cannot miss it to heat my food. Once you find the best idea that fits it, then you design it and then you test it with me. That's the whole design thinking process. So let's dive much deeper. So the design thinking process, as I was giving my microwave scenario, you first of all you empathize. You understand what the problem is. Then you define the challenge that the human is facing. In this case, the problem is I don't know how to use a microwave. I can't find the necessary buttons I need to press to be able to heat my food. Now you found the problem, you define what is the most important thing that you observed when I was using the microwave. You realize that I was gearing my hand towards the side panel that has almost all the information, and even on the side panel my hands was focused on the upper part of it, so that can be a very strategic place for you to put the press button for me to never miss it. Now you've been able to put yourself in the user's shoe by empathizing. You've defined the problem, and you've understood, you've discovered various points that you can put the press button there for me to never miss it. Now we get to ideation. How do we solve the problem? You brainstorm ideas. At this stage, no idea is bad or good. It's just about finding the suitable design that fits the problem we are trying to solve. Once we put our ideas together, we'll have to prototype it. That leads us to an MVP. So how do we create it? How do we create something that we can test with the user to see if this particular design that we brought it will solve their problem? Once we get an MVP, which is the minimum viable product, now you test it with ABBA. You bring a microwave with a new design altogether. You have placed the press button and the time allocations at specific places that you drew out in your design. You are testing it with me to see if it works. If it doesn't work, you go back and then you go and redesign your whole microwave product altogether. So the design thinking process is an iterative process. It doesn't end. You can make a mistake at any point and you have to go back and then refine your ideas. So from empathize, you empathize with the user, you understand their problem. Now that you've defined the problem, which is the user doesn't know how to use the microwave, they don't know where to even press and all that. Then you continue, you ideate, you bring out solutions. Okay, how best can we design the whole navigation process of the microwave so that the user will be able to use our microwave? You prototype, you test. But at a point, say at the ideation, at the test stage, when you got your minimum viable product and you tested with me, you realize that the design that you brought, it doesn't solve my problem. You have to go back, find more new solutions that you think can solve my problem, and then you come back and come and test with me. Say all the ideas like it didn't pull through. You first off, you can come back to the empathize stage, which is where you do your research, understanding the user's problem through surveys and interviews. You go over what the users are actually facing, the problems they are facing, what they actually need. Then you go through the process again. So it's like an endless cycle. It never stops. You can fail first at any stage of it, and you have to go back at any stage that you will need to be able to find a solution that best solves the user's problem. The main reason why we are trying to bring out the product is to solve the user's problem and also let the business also benefit. So that is the role that we as designers play, and this is the design thinking process. Now, design thinking in action. As I said earlier, empathize. At the empathize stage, we talk to real people. Now, let's take a food ordering system as an example. Let's put design thinking into action. I run a food business, okay, and it's an online food business. I'm not getting sales now as compared to earlier when I started. I'm trying to find the reason people are not why I'm not getting sales. And now you as a designer, you are on my project and you are trying to bring out a solution for me to get more sales and for people to order my food. Now, you have to talk to the people that my customers that have bought my food before, or even people who have heard of it, random people. You talk to the people who have ordered my food to see the process that they went through to order my food. Say I had a mobile app and they ordered their food from step 1 to step Z. And after you did your research, you realize that the users can't track their food order. They can't find their orders that they have made on my food app. That is you defining the problem. So first stage, you talk to them through research, observations, all the research methods. Now you've defined the problem that users can't find their orders made. That is the problem you're trying to solve. Now, how do we solve this problem? It leads us to the ideate stage. Okay, so a possible solution that you brought out is you are adding a real-time a tracking system that will help the users track their food orders. So from the kitchen, the food being prepared for the to the courier coming to pick up the food from my kitchen to the customer's house, the user is going to know where their food is at every stage. That is your possible solution. So now you have drawn out the flow together. You have drawn out your screen together to see, okay, so this is how the live tracking is going to look like. The user is going to see maybe the courier being here, maybe a location icon being here to show that, oh, this is where your food is or something. Once you've drawn all these ideas together, you pick the one that stands out to you and you think that will solve the user's problem. Then you prototype. So you put the flow together to be able to test with my customers to see that, okay, does this solve the problem that we're trying to solve? You get their feedback. Depending on their feedback, you have to either go back to the whole design process to start again, or if the solution that you brought solves your problem, then voila, you just made success. So at the ideate stage is where we do the wireframing, where we draw out our ideas. You can do low fidelity, that is pen and paper, as I said earlier in our last session. Then we have the mid fidelity, which is the grayscale sketching. You can do it on Figma. And then we have the high fidelity, which is like the actual design that the user is going to interact with. That one has the colors and everything to it. So we will be diving much deeper into the ideate stage when we get to wireframe, and all these other steps to will be diving much deeper: empathize, define, prototype, and test. We'll be doing real research, real user interviews for us to be able to build on our final project, so please keep that in mind. Now, why does design thinking work? All through my experience in design, I realized that talking to real people to understand what they need, the problems they are solving, and to leverage on that to bring out possible solutions and test with them, I realized that design thinking really works. Why? Because it focuses on real needs. We are designing for real people. So it helps us put the user like at the center front. We are not just making design assumptions. We are actually designing something that will benefit real people like us. It also helps us focus on creative ideas. It expands our creativity. It opens us up to possible solutions beyond what we normally see. Like it helps us think outside the box. It also helps reduce wasted efforts. It helps us test early, fail fast, and then learn quickly. So, my first project that I did when I started in UX, I didn't do user research. I designed with assumptions. Why? Because the time was limited. The pressure on me from the developers was too much. They wanted something to put out there. In the end, after 6 months of designing 50 plus screens, I realized that it wasn't solving a real problem for them, it rather created a problem for them. So imagine if I had gone through the stress of researching them, doing user interviews, understanding what problem they actually needed, and how best we can solve the problem with our designs. It would have saved me 6 months of work. And yes, when you go through the design process, you realize that you'll be able to test your MVP with real people to see that if you have failed very fast, even before you build the actual product. That would cause business losses, and it will help you learn quickly on your mistakes and then improve on them. It also helps us build with the users. So you realize that at every stage you involve the user. At every particular stage you involve the user. You involve the user by empathizing with them, understanding their needs. Now you define the problem. Now, yeah, I did the solutions. At every stage you realize that your focus is on the user. So it helps us build with the users in mind. So design thinking is everywhere. You are probably already using it without even knowing. You take your messy room, for instance, everything scattered all together, and you're trying to make your way to your bed. How will you go about it? Someone should just share his or her solution on how he's going to organize his messy room for him to be able to locate his bed to take a rest. Imagine a messy room. Please, I hope you guys heard me. I hope I wasn't talking in the air. I hope you guys heard me. Please let me know if you heard me.
Yes, please, we heard you.
Great. So I'm saying, imagine your room being so messy, things scattered everywhere, PC, desk, everywhere. You're trying to find your way to your bed. What will you do? What solution will you do? Anybody can just share.
So since the way to my bed is, let's say, distracted, I clear my path to my bed.
Okay, so walk me through the
If I could
process.
get to my, so I'll make sure I put the things in place, and putting things in place be I'll put the bag there. Wherever a shoe should be, I'll put a shoe there. Wherever, like whatever item that's not in place, no, I'll make sure I put it at the right. I can get a path to my bed.
That's great. So that is how design thinking is. As you said earlier, you pick you under the problem was you were not trying you were finding it very hard for you to locate your bed. So in this case you empathize with you yourself as the user to understand your pain points. It was very hard for you to get to your bed. And now you've defined the problem, you brought out solutions. Okay, if I pick this bag and I put it at where it's supposed to be, there will be enough space here for me to pass. I pick this thing this bucket that is here. I have to go and put it in the bathhouse. I pick this utensil that is here. I have to go and put it in the kitchen. Then to be creating more space for you to be able to reach your bed. That is how it is. Now, take you're planning a group trip. Has anybody planned a group trip before? It doesn't really have to be big.
Yes, please.
Oh, what? How did you go about it?
So before the group trip, uh, we set up a small two-member committee to visit like scouts places the group would love to go. So at least to tell the group where we are going when it's time, like in advance preparation. Then after the two teams scouring various places, the committee we sat down. Then we decide on which place to go exactly. Then we informed our group our intent of going to place A, B, or C. So from there we make preparations from the collection of money, food, bars, to the D-Day, procuring our items to the venue. In general, that's it.
Mm, wow, that's great. So it's just like as you said, the design thinking process is everywhere. In this case, you were designing the trip for you and your team members. And can I ask why? Like, what was the main reason why you guys were going on for the group trip?
Okay, so the reason was a, a change of scenery to have fun, not to be in our local area, but to go out and have fun.
Wow. So that's great. So in this case, this was the problem that you were trying to solve for you and your team members. They needed a place to relax, rejuvenate their body. So your problem is defined. After you had empathized with everybody's pain point, now at the idea stage, that was when you set a committee of two members. They went to scout for different beautiful sceneries that the whole group can go. They brought out possible places that you chose from. You chose one particular place that fits everything that you needed in a perfect vacation. And then you made preparations. Okay, we are supposed to get money to buy these foodstuffs, make room for these. This is the kind of decoration and setting we need to improve mental health and all that. That was your ideal stage. Now You get to the test. The test was, in this case, the test was when your group finally went to the perfect place that you guys had set up for the vacation. When they went, you realized that everybody was commending the decoration around, everybody was commending the food, everybody loved the place, the scenery, the beach. It was very calm and supporting. In the end, when everybody was leaving, when you guys were leaving, you realized that they were like, I'm so glad we came. I'm grateful. Everybody felt relaxed. That's when you realize that, oh, okay, so this solution actually worked. This particular place and the scenery that we provided for the vacation actually works. So in this case, it has been a success. So you can leverage on this to make it a regular thing for you guys to go on vacations at this particular scenery that was so relaxing. And that will be your test stage as a designer. So now we are going to have a practical session, and I would plead with all of us to share our idea just to make it interactive. It's just our last um, thing we're going to do for today, and then we'll call it a day. So it's your turn. I want you to think of one thing that you could improve in your everyday life. It shouldn't be anything big, it should be something simple. Could be you. No, let me not give you hints, but just think of one simple thing that you could improve in your everyday life using just simple steps you can think of. So, great design starts with understanding people, not how to use tools like Figma and all that. Just understanding how people interact, how people behave, how people do things. So, I just want you to share just one thing that you think you can improve as part of your daily life. Who would want to go first? So, I should start mentioning names. Hey, oh, my people. Hi, Dave Codes.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could you share yours?
One thing you have improved in your everyday life using this.
So it's supposed to be you.
Okay. Should I say okay for me, I'm a web developer.
Mm,
So I think I use these steps most at times. So let's say I get a client and I'm working on a project for I like to empathize with the client to understand what exactly or what he or she wants to build and who the target audience are. From there, I go on the web to search for inspiration since I'm not really good with designs, and then do some additions and subtraction to come up with the perfect one, which really solves the issue or the problem at hand. And I can start developing and show the final product to the client.
oh, that's very great. So from what you were saying, I realized that your steps were you first of all asking the clients questions, probing questions to understand what they need. Then now you went to find design inspirations to help build a perfect solution. And that's a very great these are great steps you have taken to improve your web development process. So thank you for sharing. Wednesday, I would love to hear your voice. Wednesday. Okay, I don't think she's here with us. Um, Rita, is there are you?
Hi, Eva.
Oh, thank.
Sorry, I was a bit distracted, so I
Mm,
lost attention a bit.
that's fine. So we are just asking you to just share like one thing you've done, like in your everyday life, to one thing you've done to improve your everyday life recently. It can be a few steps. It shouldn't be anything big. Hi, Rita. Are you here? Hello.
Hi, Eva.
Yeah.
Hello.
If you were talking, I didn't hear. Sorry.
Okay, sure. So yeah, so you were asking me to share our
Yeah.
experiences in everyday life as to how we implement design thinking without even knowing. Okay, so one simple example I can share is my field of work.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's an enterprise architecture domain. So what we usually do is we have requests coming in both from the business and within the team as well. So usually when the business owner will have a problem in how they intend the solution to kind of look like, but it is up to we the enterprise architect to decipher, exactly and solve the user's accent even beyond. So let's take a scenario like so this is how we go about it, right? We
Hmm.
have maybe just looking for a simple example to you. Let's say, just imagine somebody in the rain and is requesting for a towel to dry. But as a designer, how are you going to solve this? Are you just going to hand over the towel to the person who is in the rain but wants to dry himself up?
Hmm.
And thinking process in empathizing with the person, you would speak to the person more, understand in depth what actually the person would want, because you'll be thinking, is this person actually sane? Being in a rain, wanting to dry yourself up. So in applying the design thinking process, you would empathize to understand the person's pain point more, and moving to the next stages, the person wants to dry himself up. Okay, let me try and get best maybe to a spot where there's no rain. You first, that is one idea you can come up with, and two, uh, after you get the person out of the rain, then you can actually think of giving the person the towel.
Hmm.
So yeah, so these are ways that we implement design thinking even without knowing. But in today's lesson, this has brought to light that we are actually using this without even knowing. So yes, just a little to share. I'm sorry that I was away for some time.
That's fine. Thank you so much for really sharing. Okay, Wednesday. Do we have you back? Okay. Adam,
Yeah, Abba.
sir, please share yours with us.
More okay. So mine has to do with there was a problem with our office printer. Like we wanted to update its drivers and they've sent it to the IT department to work on it, but they couldn't. So I just took my phone. entered ChatGPT to find ways to resolve it. So I tried for the first day, it didn't work. I left, but I told myself I'm not giving up. I have to work around it. So I remember the next day, no, it occurred to me to just connect the laptop to the printer and try to find the drivers through a Windows update. Then I did it. I saw an update. I downloaded it. I installed the driver. I issued a command to print. It didn't print. So I got angry and I stopped. But this same machine I was using, initially, it wasn't able to print. But a colleague of mine who wasn't there when I was trying to resolve it just took the machine and issued a command, and it was able to print. So I asked him like, did he do any extra thing, like any extraordinary thing? And he said no. He just took the laptop, just open a his Word document and issued a command, and it came. So I was like, why? Yes, so I tried all this, it didn't work. So then I took a different laptop to see if maybe I did it and unknowingly it didn't occur to me that I was the one who did it. So sure, I took a different laptop. I tried the process again and I got to know say yes indeed I was able to fix the drivers with the printer and the laptop.
Well, that's one hell of a story, and I'm so glad that you were able to fix it. Thank you so much for sharing. So, you realize that design thinking, like, it is everywhere. It is in our daily life. So, God willing, tomorrow when you wake up, try and then just be very attentive of how you solve little basic problems around you. You realize that you're actually practicing design thinking. And UX is not just about screens, it's about real things too. For instance, I don't design for only screens. I create products, real, let me say, physical products that give people value, books, etc., and all that. So UX is all around us, and I'm hoping we can all benefit and utilize its power to solve real problems for real people. I'll pause here and then open the room for questions. Then we can call it a day. Please, you can unmute yourself and then you could talk. Ask your question. Don't you worry, don't you fret. He never lost, he never fails. Okay, so nobody has a question. We all understood design thinking.
Yes,
But
please.
let's just say you did a great work.
Wow.
There are no questions.
Wow, we thank God. This is very great, and I'm glad we got design thinking, got the understanding of design thinking, because we're going to need it when we actually start like the real design itself. So, yeah, that would be all for today's session. I'm going to let our community manager Rita speak. I think she has an announcement to make, and then we can end this session by us giving back your time so we can rest.
Hey everyone, you can all hear
Hi.
me.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Right, so I would say great having you all at today's session. And I believe we've picked out one or two things. We've jotted it down for reference sake. But one thing I would want to highlight that, as I said earlier, was I got a bit distracted though. I couldn't follow through to think I got in right at the latter, but I realized that the rooms is not very interactive as would want it. So it's just say I'm still encouraging everybody that we try to speak our mind when we need to. It's not like the normal classroom where somebody's going to pull a kid at you or um punish you for saying something wrong. So let's just be free, open up, and share whatever thing we should just to keep the room active. Yes, and it's also kind of provide confidence to the tutor that he or she is doing a good work. So it's something I want to just put across. And also, I posted on our page on WhatsApp earlier on our sketchbook So Abad made mention that as we dive deeper into the UX journey, we'll be getting to a point where we'll be learning wireframing. So the team has put together a sketchbook which we thought would be very, very, very useful when we get to that point. So we'll be sharing a link to just check a list of those who will be interested and will need them. So as and when you find the link, please do indicate whether you are interested. Yes, and I do wish everyone a restful week. And also, we should make sure we revise whatever we've been learning here and put them into practice. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you, Rita. Okay, so we're happy to give you back your time. We'll call it a day. Right after this, we'll, we'll do all to share the link to the recorded session for your recap, and also I'm just going to add a little task for you to do between today and then Sunday. It's not really that much, just to build on what we've learned. So please be expecting it, and also don't forget to share your whatever you've learned on social media. Share it on your account and then tag us. We are not really seeing it. We are just trying to help you build your social media presence as a UX designer. As I said earlier, those who talk are the ones who get the opportunities. If you are not going to talk, your destiny helper is not going to locate you. So please start talking on social what you are learning, so that people would know that you are doing something, and opportunities would be coming to you like a magnet. Okay, so thank you all so much. Please enjoy your evening. Bye.
Bye.